Go for it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about physical activity as we age. It's a very important part of retaining your health and balance, and a lot of components. And I won't try to explain it. I've got Dr. Stuart Phillips with us this afternoon, who's from McMaster Physical Activity Center of Excellence. Did I get that right, Stu? PACE?
You did? Yeah.
Good. So welcome, Stu. The Age Safe Canada website interview series, I suppose. I'll start calling
thanks
it that.
Thanks for having me on, Jim. Appreciate it.
Good. So Stuart and I go way back, playing rugby against one another. So in the sporting world, I happen to have a kinesiology degree, never took it to the level that you did. And obviously with the advent of the Age Safe course and the products and services that I've been doing for the same amount of time that you've been studying and researching, I think we're colliding once again. So you can colliding. I guess that's the only analogy I can think of. So maybe
it's a fitting rugby analogy.
That's right. So we've collided once again and found each other on the turf. So why don't you explain a little bit to people who are going to be watching this, just what it is that you do and what you research and what PACE is all about?
Sure. Yeah. So I've been a McMaster for 24 years now in the Department of Kinesiology. We study the interaction between physical activity, various forms or structured exercise, and nutrition to try and preserve in older people skeletal muscle mass and their strength, and then by translation, their independent function and ability to age in place and do all the things that they really want to do. So the Physical Activity Center of Excellence, as you mentioned, Jim, is a community access program that caters to about 500 individuals. And we have 5 different programs in there, one of which is geared around seniors. So any healthy person over the age of 55. And another program is geared towards cardiac rehabilitation, cancer patients, as well as MS patients and people with spinal cord injuries. So wide diversity of individuals, but our goal is to use exercise and physical activity to maintain them in as good a shape as possible, and obviously their autonomy and independence.
So you said it's open to the community. So is it? Yeah. Are they invited in because of studies, or they can join like they would join their local gym?
Yeah, it actually, all of the programs except for the cancer program grew out actually of a research study, at the end of which the people who had taken part said, well, you know what now? And we launched community access programs. The oldest would be the MAC cardiac program for people who have undergone some sort of cardiac procedure, all the way from a heart transplant in the case of one individual, but usually coronary bypass graft or a stent or something like that. And that's about 40 years old. But now it's a community service. So anybody that fits into one of those 5 programs can come and join for a monthly fee, much like a gym, with a little bit of a wrinkle is that we pay pretty close attention to people's health when they're working out, and are very diligent to make sure that their programming is tailored to what they can do and what they can handle.
Did you just say it's 40 years old, the original program?
The cardiac program
really?
is over 40 years old. Yeah.
Well, that's
which
great.
Goes all the way back to a guy named Neil McCartney. So for people who are rugby people, they'll recognize Neil's name as one of the original rugby coaches at McMaster. So.
Okay, we didn't really. I didn't take too close attention to the coaching. I was just too busy running over you guys on the field. So that's great. You do mention, obviously, I mean, the parts that PACE provided for us in the course. So those who are going to take the course are going to get just a small taste of the importance of physical activity. I must admit, I can't remember how much of nutrition that we talked about. So that's quite interesting. Yep. I mean, everyone talks about it. Nutrition surrounds us, dieting, all this surrounds us when we're younger or middle age, when we just want to look good. But I think from what I read in what you study, it's not just that. It's actually much deeper than that in terms of how we age.
Yeah, I mean, I think, when you talk to people as they get older, they probably talk about two primary concerns, one of which is to maintain their mental function and state as they get older. And the other one is to be physically mobile, or, alternatively phrased, they always talk about not wanting to be a burden for somebody. And I think that both of those we could argue which one is more important, but as soon as you lose one of those or both, then you're dependent on somebody else. So nutrition, the way we look at it, is actually as something that interfaces with physical activity and usually enhances its function. And we're not as interested in the aesthetic side of things, but more in the functional side. So what can we do to maintain cognitive function or physical function?
Right, right. And it does seem, and I think you and I are at the age where we are surrounded by older relatives, and there is a bit of worry about if they are on their own, what they are eating, how is their diet being planned out? Is it being planned out? Because
Yeah,
you've got me thinking already, like, what's mom eating tonight, and
yeah.
what's what can we do to maybe impress upon those ideas that you come up with there at Mac, and how does that translate into the community if you're not part of PACE, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's probably, relevant to mention a lot of seniors make decisions around food that are based on information that they learned a long time ago
Yeah,
that might not be the best information. So we try and keep people as current as we can with what we think at least are the ways that people can structure their diet without too much of a radical change or, something completely outlandish and affordable. I mean, a lot of older people are on fixed incomes. A lot of older people live alone, and so cooking for one, for example, it's a challenge. And so we try and come up every now and again with a few recipes to say this has got this, it provides all these nutrients, and that's going to support X, Y, and Z in terms of your health as well. So
yeah, very important. And yeah, like you said, ease of preparation, ease of access to simple foods. There are a lot of services out there, I know, and but it would be great to make sure that those that and within your circle are actually following some sort of parameters. Um, Fantastic. We're going to wrap this up shortly here, but very shortly. What is there like a handful of key tips that people can take away from your learnings to keep active, and how to keep active, and how to again follow that path of nutrition? Is there any
yeah, so I like to
quickly?
keep things. I like to keep things fairly simple. So I always say to people that every piece of physical activity that you do, even if it's going for a short 10-minute walk, counts. And so make sure you get something in. And from a nutrition perspective, I always teach people, or try to teach people, that shopping around the outside of the grocery store, so usually produce, usually meats and dairy, and then grains and cereals down another aisle, and trying to avoid the middle part where there's the chips, the cookies, and that sort of thing.
Oops.
Is a good.
Oops.
Yeah, I know. We all trip up every now and again.
Not
But the
zigzaggy,
point,
zigzaggy. Yeah,
yeah,
sorry,
but
go
the
on.
point is to try and shop around the outside as much as you can. And any physical activity is good physical activity for sure.
Well, that's good. I think that's a great way just to wrap this up for this afternoon, and maybe we'll tap back in the next little bit and see how things are progressing there. I really do appreciate this. I think people who are going to watch this refer back to you. Is there any place that they can find you in the PACE activities? Or sorry, your learnings again?
Yeah, sure. So we are pace .mcmaster.ca is a website. I'm on social media as well. I'm at MacKinProf, MacKinProf on Twitter and Instagram if you go there as well, or Stuart Phillips on Facebook. So you can find me. We try and do a lot of outreach and get our word out about physical activity in particular, a little bit about nutrition as well. And look me up, send me an email. I'm easy to find.
That's great. That's great. Again, thanks, Stu, for your time today. And we'll put
My
this up
pleasure.
shortly, and hope everyone enjoys. Thanks again.
Thank you.